So way back in 1986, I started to change my martial direction from karate based to Budo based, which is a warrior craft that have been traditionally held together for over 2,000 years of recorded records. And Dr. Hatsumi is the 34th Grandmaster of 9 Budo schools that still hold the ancient traditions. And his master was Takamatsu, who was actually a real live instigator of these techniques. So it is a real live art. But it's also a body lifestyle as well. And Hatsumi, in his day job, was a Sakotsu Japanese osteopath. And this intrigued me for many years because I was an osteopath and I was structurally manipulating and wanting to get away from this model. As I looked at the way he moved his body, which was called taijutsu, it was a very natural orientated movement. And he actually stated that human beings are the only creatures that needed to be taught to move naturally. And when I've explained this to people, they say, but don't we all move naturally? And actually we don't. As bipedal, upright people, we're quite inefficient. And what I see now in modern gyms and modern lifestyle is that people doing very repetitive and very almost robotic type of movements that are actually deranging some of the muscles and causing strains and stresses in gyms that we see every day in our practices. However, when you train in taijutsu, body movement, you realise that the power base comes from a totally different place. You're always in tune with your centre of gravity. And when you watch Hatsumi move and walk, he's always in tune with his centre of gravity. He's always taking it with him. There's never a place where he compromises that level of imbalance. So that's its natural movement of taijutsu. And he incorporated that into his medicine. On the odd occasion, if there was ever an injury in the dojo, he would immediately go to the person and restore the balance of that part very simply by touching reflexogenic points on the body, pressing here, searching here, feeling this tissue. I watched this for many years, over 10 years period, and implemented those movements into my practice. In 1989, I wrote a book basically on the ancient concepts of movement therapy. That was 25 years ago now, and I put that book together for my clients all those years ago in the year that Christopher was born, and now he's in his 25th year. So we're going to update those skills and represent it with the advanced knowledge that I've got now from Hatsumi's movements and studying the human body as a whole. One of the things that Hatsumi constantly said to us, that we could understand his Budo from a different aspect because we understood anatomy. So he said because we understood the anatomy of Budo, we could apply both sides of it as a medicine and as a form of martial art. And a lot of the points that we'd use for resuscitation would also strangle, because obviously if a person was in a state of strangle, then the resuscitation points had to revive. So this revival and this resuscitation and the strangulation were part of the same complex. It's yin-yang, if you like, it's balance, it's black and white, it's equal opposites. And he drew me this picture, this calligraphy of Bodhidharma, the famous monk who sat under a Bodhi tree, and that's how, hence he got his name. So he was the Dharma, and he sat under the Bodhi tree and became Bodhidharma. And he travelled down from Tibet and came down to teach various monks his meditation and his medical systems. And when they tried to sit in meditative states for long periods of time, he found that they were too weak. So he actually started to teach them the martial movements and taught them martial arts to strengthen the bodies as a way of actually learning to stay still, to learn his meditation. And so because of Bodhidharma coming down through the Silk Road and travelling to countries like India, like Japan, this influence was put around the world, and so he's basically classed as being the father of medicine and also the beginnings of the origins of martial arts systems. And so Hatsumi acknowledged myself and 2 others when we presented our work and gave us accreditation for that, and said that he would teach us his Amatsu techniques. And that's how Amatsu basically came into being, and we're still practicing and training those concepts. I'm into my 30th year now of studying those concepts, and some of it's still a mystery, but with the aid of tensegrity and understanding anatomy and natural movement principles, we've got this whole lifestyle that we can now teach to golfers, athletes, even dyslexics. We have different movement programs that are helping all of these kind of things, which is really interesting, and that allows us to put something back into mankind and bring back these natural movement principles. Many children now are actually not taught to climb trees, not to swing on ropes. In fact, in schools where I teach, they've actually took ropes out of the way because of health and safety. And this to me is a great sadness, because children are now suffering from something called nature deficit syndrome. And this is really serious. We need to bring these natural movement principles back into our lives as a safe way of being competent uprightly, and take away some of the stresses and strains that we posturally take on every day. I talk to people whose lifestyles entail sitting in a car 5 and 6 hours and driving hundreds of miles a day, or sitting at a computer desk working a mouse for 5 or 6 hours a day. And this produces a postural set, or a plastic neurology in the muscles, that's very difficult to get out with exercise. As a way to de-stress, they go to gyms and then run on treadmills and lift weights and do quite strenuous exercises, because everybody wants to be a particular shape now, and they want big muscles, and this is fine. Cosmetically, that's a good thing, it looks good, but efficiently, and as the bipedal man wants, he wants efficiency, he wants good joint control, it's actually the wrong thing.